in their region of the world right now. And with Simon to lead the charge, I think that they have got a lot to be excited about. He is a 3-star expert, already putting up multiple of them so far this month. We'll see if he can do it again with the Royal Champion moving in. Does finish off that Ricochet cannon. Nice.
Yeah, getting that taken care of. And something which we have learned last year about him is when Synchronic, and he played for Synchronic in the World Championship, when they were doing their Electro Titan approaches last year, the strategy which they brought into the World Championship and everyone started copying, he was one of the players who really liked to bring the Angry Jelly on the Archer Queen, which was his personal touch to the strategy. So that is for sure something which I'm excited for, because he's bringing this one as well into the strategy, which is not as common. We see that with the Royal Champion charges with the Dragons, but not as much with the Root Rider. So let's see how that's going to work. And as well, he's bringing the Minion Prince into the mix instead of using the Barbarian King, which is, well, one of my favorites, because I just think the Minion Prince is so strong with his abilities.
Simon kept that Spirit Fox alive despite it having only a sliver of health, and when he got the recall done, I think that he felt like he accomplished every goal on the inside of the space that he needed to with that. Bit of an odd use of the Dark Orb there, just firing off into the middle of nowhere against defenses that are not even engaged with this attacking troops. And yet, it looks like a very strong push through the middle nonetheless.
Yeah, the one Black Mine forced the ability of the Minion Prince, which unfortunately went not into the core where you would have liked to have it. But still, with having the entire push alive and the Minion Prince have done his job of clearing out the chop side, the Root Riders are on a good way towards the Town Hall and about to take it out. The freeze is there. He's freezing the air defense, which is not as important if you're playing with the ground. Instead, he could have just frozen the multi-year tower, and let's hope that that's not going to backfire.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks like he has a very strong set of heroes to take this base down. They're all in green health and looking very vim and vigorous. Simon marching along to that right side corner. As long as there's not any sneaky buildings along the edge that I haven't noticed, I think he's got this. 38 seconds left to clean up the rest of this base, and really just has to worry about an enemy Archer Queen on the far side. Drops that invisibility spell, but oh no, is going to lose the RC to that bomb tower explosion. Still, an Archer Queen and a Grand Warden of his own should be enough to chew through these lines of defense, but is he going to have to pop 2 walls here? What?
Yeah, he has to go through 2 walls. Maybe the Yeti can carry, but again, those defending heroes are stronger. So 1 versus 1, Archer Queen versus Archer Queen, the defending hero would win. But this one is going to come down to the last second, depending on how many Yeti mites he still has inside that Yeti. But it's actually not going to happen in 98%. And we have... And they are starting with another Root Rider attack. It's going to be a classic approach, it seems like, based on the pets which we have seen so far. The hero equipment seems to be quite average as well. Yep, there are the rockets, like the rocket spear. So everything as usual. But it seems like that he's taking a lot of damage on the Fox early on.
Yeah, and is going to lose it, in fact. Seems like he wasn't really relying on too deep of a charge here with this invisibility spell being the last one to deploy. But yeah, he's not going to have much hit points left on that Royal Champion when he has to recall out, and did not quite finish off that multi-target Inferno Tower. We've got a Builder Hut right next to it to start repairing it back up. So Yada getting some fine work done early on, but maybe not all the value he was expecting.
Yeah, but the entry to the tunnel looks quite solid. The troops should path into it. We have again the siege machine to throw some barrels and support troops into the mix. The pathing setup so far looks quite solid, with the king pushing around the outside, pushing everything back into the space with the snakes around him as well. The Warden ability comes in clutch to heal the Royal Champion up back as well. But the troops are splitting quite a bit, and that is never good to have to happen, because this means the healers are not as effective. They are a splash, like the splash troops. This means they're healing an area of troops, and if they're splitting, that's never a good thing to happen.
Bad sign for Yada, one of the strongest attackers on this Navi lineup, but just finding difficulty after difficulty against a difficult base design. VATIC eSports' Imran now is holding the middle of the space as best he can with the defending queen, who goes down. Still, what can be done with this big ground-based army that has got a lot of big, heavy defenses left to deal with. It's going to pop that Archer Queen ability with a giant out in front. Should be able to keep her safe, but she's going to be stuck on walls for a little while here on the top side. Another bad result, just echoing what we saw before.
Yeah, and this seems to be not as high on the percentage mark as the other attacks which we have seen from Navi. He's trying to wall break the giant into that compartment. He's going to get a couple more percentage points, but this is only getting a little bit above the 80% mark. We all know that 90% is the minimum those teams are going for, especially knowing how good the other teams are on the other side. 83, maybe the Yetis can get a couple of more percentage picked up. The Yeti Mites, maybe with the Expo. Yeti Mites are getting spawned, but no, they're splitting up to the next bidding, which means an 85% 2-star. Stop defending. We have seen that already in the past, that some of the teams were using bases multiple times in the same match, and they will just keep defending because hard mode is so challenging even for the best players out there. But we're up with the next attack, and this one is going to be a ward in charge with the fireball to make sure that everything around that town hall is going to go down early on, and then he's going to follow things up with the Root Riders.
Charging through with the Angry Jelly to keep that Warden targeting onto enemy defenses, and the healers keeping him topped off despite the big damage coming in from that Town Hall. Kingsman does get the first shot in, and the captain of this VATIC squad is looking confident. He has scored 3 stars in both of the previous attacks where he was attacking as an early mid-war participant, and in this second spot he is looking to get the first 3-star of the battle today. Drops the giant fireball but does not finish off the clan castle even with that earthquake spell. And that could be bad news for the second stage of this deploy, Itsu.
Yeah, and he has no poison, so he really was counting on the clan castle to go down. But the earthquake spell's not getting this job done there. Really unfortunate. And this can backfire massively, because this means ice golems and most likely again this annoying furnace would be coming out of that. And that is never good news, not for the troops and not for the healers either. We have the king now with the snakes, the classic approach, funneling the outside. But, Woody, again, the troops are splitting so much. The healers are having such a tough time to heal everything up.
This is going to be a really tricky base to crack into with a monolith so well protected on the inside and tough to reach for these heroes. Forces out the ability from the RC, who's going to pop her hoggies out. Freeze right into the core of the base, and she does get a few stabs off, but does not finish that monolith. Archer Queen, meanwhile, is going to be right within range, and that's going to force another ability, but she can't return fire over the wall. That monolith is still standing and will annihilate that poor giant. Kingsman's attack is withering away here, Itsu.
Yeah, this clan castle staying alive was such a big game-breaking thing for him. This just meant that the fire, like everything came out there, the ice golems, the furnace as we were predicting, but it is so much damage on his troops and so much distraction for the defense then to do so much damage. The monolith inside the core was able to do so much damage, and now the rage tower goes off, and take a look at that. The ward is just getting 2 shots.
Horrifying result, and trying to keep his head on straight as Kingsman knows that percentage is extremely important to go for in a war where VATIC has that percentage lead but needs as many defensive buildings destroyed to hold on to it. He still has the king ability and he should just pop it. There's only 10 seconds left in the attack. Yep.
That is not the attack he was hoping for. Getting at least still the spiky ball for the last couple of biddings, so it's a 91%.
To encourage his teammates and keep their spirits high. Kaku with a lightning fast strike shows us how you can use that giant fireball for maximum effect and leaves no building standing with his use of earthquake. He is ready to storm on in with super witches, which are known to have difficulties with time failing, and that's why he is going to waste no time at all with this lightning fast entry point, Itsu.
Yeah, and I really like super witches. They're such a cool troop, and they're so strong. The only thing which I'm worried about is this air defense in the second layer. Take a look at that. It started firing. He already lost like 2 healers by now, so he has to freeze 1 to the black mine and 1 to the air defense. And if this air defense is not going down quickly, this entire attack can fall short so quickly. He has to take down this air defense. Another black mine popping up. He has to freeze again. And this means a lot of things are invested early on. The fireball was great though. The question is, does he have enough power with those super witches? They can fall short quite quickly if those giant skeletons are not getting generated quickly enough. But the Archqueen and the King so far are doing an amazing job of keeping everything inside.
We may not see very many troops on the board, but that Super Witch army can just summon so many big boys and keep the punishment applied consistently. Look, though, we do just now lose an Apprentice Warden getting sprung off the map, and that's another crucial support troop that Gaku is going to be losing out on as he moves toward the backside of this base. There are ground targeting Expos, a well-protected Monolith that is now getting some skeleton spell distraction. But it looks like the Monolith is targeted onto one of the Super Witches anyways, now retargeting onto the Giant, dishing out a lot of DPS, but we are not worried at all about time. It is just going to be a matter of whether or not we can make it through these final defenses, Itsu.
It's all about the last couple of defense. I'm really surprised about some of the spell usage of Gaku. The Queen going down, the Royal Champion still having her ability and an invisibility spell, so maybe it's going to be enough for him. He's able to dodge a couple of those giant bombs with the delayed Royal Champion ability, but it's not enough.
RC is eliminated and Gaku has been repelled yet again. Incredible to see such fantastic base design, denying the best attackers in the game. And that is just a testament to the difficulty of hard mode, where your offense is weaker and your opponent's defenses are stronger across the board. But a 91% 2-star
Distract Monolith was such a nice nice idea there. But we're in the next attack and we have another Root Rider attack in here with the attack of Nachoa.
Very well said, Itsu, and there's a reason why you're my favorite Eklarbar, or as we say in German, explanation bar. We're hopping into the attack now from Nachoa, who's going to be using another deep entry with Royal Champion and Spirit Fox. Pop in invisibility spells and did bring a recall to try to pull her back, but man, she has taken a ton of damage from traps early on here, Itsu. Trying to get some more speed as she pops her ability now, but oh man, she has got a lot of work left to do. Electro Boots are whittling away at those CC troops, and the recall happens right in the nick of time. Nachoa. I think he's pretty happy with that. What would you say, Itsu?
Yeah, the value is looking amazing. Really, really great job there with the Royal Champion charge. But it's not all about as well with the traps and how things are working out for him when it comes into the protection of those healers. That is such an important thing for the attackers, keeping the healers alive. And with the Town Hall, with all of those air traps, it can be sometimes a really challenging job of keeping them long enough alive. The red mines are getting triggered by the... Oh my, there are so many red mines, and all of them are gone to really keep those healers safe.
That is so terrifying to see traps exploding right in your face, especially this early in the raid when you need to keep those healers up and alive. Bombs triggering, but they are not going to deal any damage thanks to the Eternal Tome's protection. And we're seeing those multi-target Infernos and Monolith, the key defenses on the backside of this base, still holding strong. Nachoa holding on to his Barbarian King's ability and the Queen as well, ready to pop when it matters most. Doing a good job of blocking out in front of those heavy, high hit point troops by using Valkyries to soak shots from the Monolith. They are now going to be swinging those axes all around and dealing maximum splash damage on the interior of this base. Nachoa seems well positioned to have the highest possibility of a 3-star of any attack so far this war.
Yeah, and there's still so many troops alive on this outside. I mean, yes, there's still quite a bit of base left, but as well, with the Queen ability used, the King ability still left to be used, this is not looking too bad on the power end. The only question or the only fear I have is really the time, because the Throne Tower is staying up at the core, and that is out of reach for most of those defense or most of those troops. But remember, if he's timing that spiky ball correctly, then Throne Tower should drop from it.
Only 17 seconds left, and he's got 12% of the space. He's got to pop that ability quickly and get maximum effect. He did see a little bit of repairing work getting done on the multi-target Inferno because that builder hut is still activated. Pop the ability, you gotta get in there quicker. No! Another time fail, Itsu, and Nachoa is handle. We will find out in a matter of 3 minutes, as we will soon see a Royal Champion diving in with the Spirit Fox. Only 4 invisibility spells brought and no recalls at all.
Wait, I think this... Is this not going to be a classic Royal Champion charge, it feels like, when it comes down to the recall or something? Because he is investing the Royal Champion with a charge, but no recall. And he is having as well a blimp right now with a lava. This is looking like a complete out-of-the-box attack, which I love to see. He's really trying to have a unique approach to this. But he's maybe not having enough invisibility spells because that Royal Champion is struggling a little bit right now.
And shut down by the enemy Poison Tower. Didn't finish off that multi-target Inferno, but did kill the Archer Queen. A nice early start, but maybe not getting exactly as much value as Kazuma was hoping for. The CC pool is going to go up to the top while the Dragons are ready to deploy. Enemy Barbarian King is not going to get too much value on defense now. It's an air defense if you want to consider it that way, but those Dragons are not taking any damage under the protection of the Eternal Tome. Kazuma's marching on in and is holding on to just 1 Rage spell and 1 Bat spell for the back end of this base. I'm not seeing many great targets for it. I guess he's going to try to shut down the Monolith with those bats. But otherwise, he's hoping that these Dragons can kind of, I guess, do some like forking here where most of them are going to be following the Grand Warden to the right side where a Lava Hound and a Battle Blimp are going over to the left. Why would he separate his troops like this, Itsu?
Yeah, right now the attack is kind of all over the place, but he somehow makes it work right now. The channel is going down with the rage, with those raged Yetis. The top side, Dragons are really low on hit points, and the one thing which scares me the most is this core, the 2 Fire Spitters firing in both directions. The Minion Prince, though, still being alive and as well having the Phoenix on it. But there is so much on the back end. The Archer Queen already went down as well. He's trying to reinforce with a couple of Rocket Loons, and he has still more Rocket Loons to deploy, and it is pretty much only the scatter shot at this point if the Inferno Tower goes down, and it is possible for sure with the Minion Prince having that Phoenix.
Wow, Sneezy is doing some excellent work here, sending out some snowballs to block and distract, and it's looking like we've found our first 3-star after all. I could barely believe my eyes on the early stage of this deploy, but he has done his duty, and Kazuma will go home with a triple against VATIC eSports, the first we've seen today.
What a crazy attack. I mean, that was
everything he's got at making this his magnum opus to send VATIC back to the upper bracket, and with a Quattro invisibility, the giant fireball is dropped right there in the core. Not able to finish off that ricochet cannon. A little bit of an unfortunate result, but should be able to finish it off with the last remaining shots from this Grand Warden on the outside.
Yeah, because of the equipment restrictions, you would need 3 Earthquakes to take that out. But because there would be another entire spell, he is just going for damaging it, and he's still 1-shot with the Warden, so he's fine with that overall. And yeah, I think it was a smart choice of not investing that Earthquake because it would be just not necessary whatsoever. And now going in from the far side, and Woody, we have seen quite a few attacks going far side from the Town Hall. I am scared.
Beautiful use of those Headhunters as well to tear down that enemy King, just shutting off a very important defensive deploy there. He's also got that Eternal Tome offline, so keep in mind that all the damage is going to be coming in the entirety of this raid. Tryhard has to protect those Root Riders and keep them healed up with the healers in order to have a chance at the triple, but holds on to the Overgrowth until later on. Going to be able to use that in the core of the base to shut off defenses and maintain the pathing that he wants with these Root Riders. He's going to allow the Town Hall to stand up and make sure that he can take that crucial defense down early on with the Royal Champion's long-range spear action.
Yeah, really nice usage of that Invis spell as well to keep that Royal Champ alive during her ability. The Warden, though, is trying to stay alive, but the healers are gone. All of those red mines were in this dead zone. And without healers, it is really rough to 3-star, especially with this back end. Take a look at that, the Fire Spitter. We have merged multi-arch tower, we have the merged cannons. There is so much on this back end. This is not going to be easy to get through, and as well, get as many percentage points as possible.
Minion Prince a major annoyance in dealing with another flying foe, and Tryhard is just about to spend the last of his troops on this deployment. Not only did he miss the triple, but he is pretty far down in percentage and needs to hope and pray that this Archer Queen can get further into this base and deal with this percentage deficit. Unfortunately, didn't lock onto the air defense early enough, and so we'll lose another healer. She's going to go for the storages instead of the defenses. Yet again, another little bit of an unfortunate result here, but Tryhard does clip up higher and higher, finding that 90% spot and looking for a few more from the remaining buildings around the edge of the base. He's done a good work against Gaku, but cannot find a triple, and that leaves Navi with an opportunity now
already in the future when it comes down to those 3-star predictions. But we're seeing another Root Rider attack this time around from Klaus, having quite a few of those invis spells in the mix with the recall this time around, so no fancy shenanigans, again, like what we have seen from his teammate. But he wants to get as great of a cut as possible and is investing right now a lot of those spells.
We still see a little bit of a percentage lead for VATIC, even if Navi were to triple on this attack. And so at least they can hope that if they can defend against Klaus somehow, that there might still be a path to victory in the last few moments of this war. Klaus sends in his Archer Queen out the right side and supported with a Unicorn, holding on to 5 healers ready to deploy to support the rest of this raid. It's going to be 5 Root Riders out in front with some Valkyries as well, tanking blows for the bulk of this army. He sent in a Headhunter as well to deal with that enemy king, and sees that high-flying Minion Prince as a big threat to deal with next.
Ooh, the Log Launcher going down, and this means that the core monolith is in reach, but not going down from the Log Launcher. He has to make sure that he's manipulating now the pathing of that Archer Queen so she can go into that direction. Right now that's working perfectly like planned. At the same time, we have the Root Rider starting, so a lot of multitasking is needed at this stage of the attack. The monolith finally going down, and with that, the pathing towards the Town Hall is created. But there's just so much space left at this point.
VATIC needs a defense here now to hold Navi at bay. In fact, VATIC needs a defense and then a 3-star to follow up if they want a chance at getting the win. Hoping beyond hope that they can deny one of the best attackers in the game, still holding on to his Royal Champion ability and a final 3 spell to use against the last end of these troops. He's facing off against a mighty amount of DPS being dished out by ground targeting expos, and still has a Fire Spitter and a Ricochet Cannon to deal with on the back end. Poison spell adds insult to injury, rubbing salt in Klaus's wounds, and it seems like there is not going to be much left of this attack. Klaus is reeling at this low percentage result, which is exactly what VATIC was hoping for, giving them a slight possibility to turn this shit back around and win with their last and final 5th attack, still needing to be a 3-star.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, though, it's going to become really interesting. If VATIC eSports is going to 3-star with their last attack, they would force Navi to 3-star as well because of the percentage lead they have right now, especially with this attack coming in. So I think this might become a really insane and crazy finish, depending on what the last attack of VATIC eSports is looking like. If they 3-star...
The accolades time and again for his 3-star showings, but has weakened up a little bit, I gotta say, out of the previous wars, showing us only 2-star finishes. He needs to clutch up now and sends in a Royal Champion charge to try to get the job done, Itsu.
Yeah, and he's trying to get as much value as possible with so many invisibility spells, redirecting the Royal Champion so she's eventually getting into the core because she can reach so many defense over there. If she's not going for the monolith, she would go for that multi-merge tower next, and that would be so crucial, but no! She's going for the outside buildings, and with that, she's out of reach of that core, and that is devastating. This had to be a difference of a couple of tiles, and I mean, this is now hard to recover.
Horrifying to see. Imran did not bring a recall spell, so there was no opportunity to try to pivot into the core. he's just going to have to continue using these invisibility spells in a suboptimal, low-value manner, not able to take down those key defenses in the center. He does bring one free spell, so he might choose to use that for the Monolith, but otherwise he is just going to get hammered on the defenses still remaining. Expect to see him pop that Eternal Tome. Yeah, he does catch a Black Bomb as well, and a lot of DPS coming in from the Monolith, and that multi-cannon is going to be negated.
Well, there goes the freeze, but he has still a long way towards the town hall, and there is a double sweeper setup protecting that town hall, which is going to be a really, really big threat to him, because he has no rage, no freeze whatsoever left at this stage, which means, take a look at that, the sweeper are pushing those dragons away from the town hall. All of those red mines are popping up now, dealing so much damage, and even the second star at this stage is going to be a challenge.
Just a brutal follow-up now, and Imran is getting shoved around by defenses that will not give up. Dragons breathing fire on the town hall, a little bit of some relief now, as he just needs a few more shots and the 2-star is secured. But VATIC missing the triple here now means that they need a 1-star defense against NAVI, and there's no way to expect that that would be a likely result.
Yeah, it's just surprising, to say the least, of the trend of the scores which we have seen so far, because all of those matches which we have seen in the beginning of the day were like 13 to 12 scores. And this match could finish on like 11 to 10 score, which is for sure not what we were expecting. So yeah, I'm surprised, confused, everything at the same time. But VATIC not getting a single 3-star in this matchup, and NAVI now, they should be easily go for a safe 2-star to get into the finals. Go through the lower bracket to then make it to this weekend. But we have stars, and let's take a look at how he's going to secure the second star as hopefully as safely as possible. If he's going to clear out the bottom corner and then start from the left side on the far side of the town hall, I'm going to lose my mind.
No way would he do that to his teammates at the moment when they need it most. We have seen mistakes like that happen, though, in the past. There have been opportunities for an easy 2-star to clinch the win, where players just push it all in nonetheless and stick to their original plan and wind up getting 1-stars. Let's hope that that's not the case here for Stars' sake, as he starts off with a charge onto the bottom side, gets a massive chunk of that corner out, and will pivot now over onto the right corner with his Archer Queen now deployed and ready to set up the rest of his troops along this top side position. No, he's gonna keep him down there on the right, in fact, I'd assume.
Yeah, but he's having the pathing set up into the, or behind the town hall to make sure that he's getting that second star secured. So I feel like this is a really, really solid and safe approach for the goal, what he's going for. At the same time, I feel like that approach has chances of 3-starring, even though with the multi-inferno towers out of reach is not going to be the highest likelihood. But still, I feel that this is exactly what he has to do in this current position to give his team the highest chance of not 3-starring, but as well just winning the match. That's what it's all about at this stage.
There goes the first star, and at 50%, NAVI will secure the win against VATIC eSports. There's hardly anything left in their way to stop them, and there it is! NAVI return to the grand finals, victorious over VATIC eSports, and will be marching back to the top to face off against Dizzy in the last matchup of our month.
And what a match this was. Really unexpected coming into this match with how the teams have performed so far. But NAVI just ice cold performing those attacks and, well, getting the 1-3-star. This is what it sometimes is all about in hard mode, just getting this 1-3-star. What he's still trying to push all the way, because this can still go all the way with having the Queen ability still left, using the Ice Golem to tank that back end merged cannon. Archer Queen ability has been used, which means we have the Giant and as well the Archer Queen clones out and try to recover.
Congratulations to NAVI, sweeping back through to not only secure the victory, but to give us another chance at a possibility for a triple. Just one multi-target Inferno stands in their way, and with the free spell drop, It looks like they're making a march toward the end of this base. Archer Queen or the Giant, one or the other will finish it off, and Stars finds his triple. Congratulations to NAVI, and also congratulations to the viewers out there who successfully predicted the outcome of this match, upsetting a unanimous pick from the casters. NAVI could not be more excited and more proud of this victory. Now,
because NAVI will have the chance of forcing a bracket reset. They would need to win twice within the finals to have this golden ticket on their hands. It would be the first team
at the bracket here. But what do you think of all these lower bracket matchups being so close throughout, with the exception of that last one? VATIC definitely feel off today, but NAVI, what do you think? The lower bracket buff, is it a real thing, Coco?
Well, the entire bracket in the tournament has been completely stacked from the very, very beginning, which means the lower bracket of it is just going to be even tougher to get through. NAVI have been putting on a fantastic show in the lower bracket, and we know that they can win from the lower bracket because they